Where do you think this war is right now, and where is it going? Do you think it's been a failure? I just got back from Iran, where the Iranian government is touting this as a huge success. They believe they won the war, and they're trying to get the Iranian people to rally behind their victory and hold on to the leverage they've achieved. And we can break down each one of those things. How do you assess the conflict before we get into it?
Well, there's no doubt that the United States and Israel have failed strategically to this point. They have been tactically successful in the sense of bombs hitting targets, bombs killing leaders, bombs destroying missile launchers. But strategically, they have failed because Iran controls Hormuz. And what you are now seeing is the stage of the war where the United States is trying to reverse the defeat. That's what's occurring. That's what's in front of us. Now, this is tragic, but fully predictable, Richard. So I have been modeling the bombing of Iran for 20 years. 3 days before the February 28th war started, I opened up a Substack called The Escalation Trap, where I put out the 3 stages of the escalation trap that was going to unfold over the next 6 months or a year.
And do you think we're in that escalation trap now?
Oh, for sure. We're in it now and have been for a while. Some of us just didn't know that. So stage 1 is the opening where bombs would hit targets, bombs would kill leaders, bombs would hit missile sites, but the Iran regime would not collapse. It would stiffen. And that would lead to then stage 2, which is Iran would grow stronger and take Hormuz. What this would be is Iran would now control Hormuz and would become the rising regional hegemon. And also, I published a piece in the New York Times on April 4th that Iran, if over the next year and a half, if that continued, would become the 4th center of world power. And so there's a whole lot underneath that. But now what happened after stage 2, where Iran controlled Hormuz, we of course tried punishment attacks. So I've been studying punishment campaigns with air power, economic sanctions, blockades for 30 years. I've taught for the U.S. Air Force and also advised every White House.
So where are we now?
We are now knocking on stage 3. We're about to go to what are limited ground options and more aggressive efforts to take Hormuz back. This is what the repositioning of the forces have been in the last 2 weeks. It's not just general repositioning. This is what the bombing patterns have been in the last few weeks. This is suppression bombing to get prepared for more aggressive ground options here. Now, it's not that President Trump has signed the order for the ground options, and I'm sure there's still hope that he can get ships through the southern passage of Hormuz and avoid the ground options. But this is not a situation where this is iffy and we're doing pretext anymore. Notice there's not even the pretense of negotiations anymore.
And so are you saying that the U.S. and maybe Israel are going to have to relaunch the war again to try and do what they didn't do the first time and make this a victorious war?
Yes, and it'll be a bigger, worse war. So this is not a situation where we're relaunching the old war. So a lot of the media now is saying, well, are we going back to March and April? No, this will be much worse than that.
We're not just restarting the car again.
We're not restarting the car. We're going to take the car and we're going to focus it in a different direction. And effectively, Richard, you will probably know that in April, the Pentagon, they did a classified study of what would happen if we tried to retake Hormuz. And they said it would be a 6-month war. So if your listeners will Google that, they'll see the New York Times story in April that a 6-month war is likely coming here. Now, there'll be good days. There'll be bad. There'll be good weeks. But this is not a situation where this is going to be over and we're about to end this in just a day or two. What's going on is a fundamental zero-sum disagreement about who will control the Strait of Hormuz. Is it going to be Iran that will control it, in which case they will become the 4th center of world power in about a year and a half, the dominant state in the Persian Gulf and in the Middle East? Or is it going to be America, in which case Iran will go back to becoming the declining power? Hormuz is not just about some tolls. This is more than that. It's geopolitics of the first order and changing the balance of power in the region and really around the world. The second problem he's got is the opinion polls here are out, and MAGA is not supporting the idea of the MOU. Trump needs MAGA to turn out in droves. And if Trump owns the L, Richard, then he will be the loss that puts it on his chest the way the Iranians want him to own it, then he will be the loser and he will be the lamest of lame ducks even before the midterms.
What does this 6 month look like?
We are going to likely have ground operations unfold where we're actually on the coast of Iran. I would say this is 70% likely.
And wouldn't they immediately come under attack? So let's say a bunch of U.S. Marines take these beachheads or these islands and hold them, and they're going to be constantly attacked.
I just published a lengthy post explaining why is Trump escalating if everybody says he won't because of the midterms. Because this is what everybody has been saying for months. He wouldn't possibly do this.
And that's counterintuitive. The gut instinct in America and other places is that he's dialing this down and will try and dial this down into the midterm. You're saying, no.
No, I'm saying this is what's happening right now. This week, next week, we're knocking on the door of this now, not in November. And it's about politics here, Richard. This isn't just, I don't just study military bombs hitting targets. The escalation trap is about how military action impacts politics.
What's the trap part?
Remember a few weeks ago when Trump signed the MOU, he said, our oil is going to run out in 4 weeks, and I don't want to become Herbert Hoover. Well, Trump signed the MOU, and the oil did not open. Now, we can argue why Hurmuz didn't open, but those oil inventories, Richard, are running down on the same rate as before. Trump is going to become Herbert Hoover for sure. For sure.
Hoover's name is associated with poverty and misery in the United States.
That's exactly right. And it's because it was a global depression as well. It wasn't only in the United States. And what you are seeing here is there is real risk. And I'm not telling, I don't think the economy, nobody really knows how bad it's going to get. But everybody knows that it's a matter of how bad. It's not bad. So as those oil inventories run down, as Hormuz remains closed, all of our buffers, our spare gas that we kept in the garage to run the car if it ran out of gas, that's gone, Richard. So what's happening is the world's economy really is getting closer and closer to going off a cliff. It could happen in the middle of August, according to the best experts.
So you think this reinvigorated war creates a new global depression?
It's the other way around. It's going to look that way here to a lot of people, Richard. But the reality is Trump's anticipating that. I think this is what he told us 2 weeks ago. He was very forthright. He said, I will sign the MOU because I don't want there to be a Great Depression and I'll become Herbert Hoover. And then J.D. Vance gave long interviews where he said Trump told us to use the MOU to refill the oil inventories. It didn't happen, which means the world's economy it's like the ship on the Titanic hitting the iceberg. We are on the Titanic. We saw an iceberg and everybody said, don't hit that iceberg. And we're still going to the iceberg. And now everybody's saying, what are we going to do? And also, to be clear, Richard, I would not advise the president to be doing this, restarting this war, go down this road. I am not advocating this. You just came back from Iran. So the problem with the punishment campaigns that we inflicted on Iran is they were always going to stimulate large amounts of nationalist revenge. That's what happened when Nazi Germany bombed London in World War II. That's why the British firebombed German cities. This was not some accident. Okay, they wanted payback. And they wanted to kill 1,900,000 German civilians. That's in the operational plans of Churchill. So this was not some accident that happened. And what you're seeing here in Iran is the revenge factor is coming fast and furious. And then when the Americans are killed, the American public will not back away. They will become more incensed themselves. And I've been warning about this for months on podcasts. People kept thinking, well, if there's some American casualties, this will make America pull back even more, right? No.
So what's stage 4?
Stage 4 is where we pull back. This is where President Trump tried to go initially here with the MOU. He was essentially saying to Iran, if you'll just let the straits open here, give me a fig leaf here, some way I can have a face-saving way out, I'll sort of pull back. I'll even let you keep some of your uranium, enriched uranium. Notice what he was talking about there as holding out the carrots. Well, what that is allowing Iran to rise as the rising regional power. That's what stage 4 is. But that was always a tension. So once you're at stage 2, there's a fork in the road. Either you do stage 3, which is you take Hormuz back, or you do stage 4, where you allow Iran to become the fourth center of world power. And what Trump did is he kind of dabbled with stage 4, but he couldn't really bring himself to own the loss. That would mean, because it would mean he would become not Herbert Hoover, but Lyndon Johnson, the president during the Vietnam War, who was embarrassed so much we can't even remember his name for failing in Vietnam. So these were President Trump's choices. Does he want to become Herbert Hoover or Lyndon Johnson? But Iran is not a pipsqueak power. So I'm often hearing on the media, well, this is a big power, United States against a small power. Iran's, as you know, 92 million people. They've got satellites. The idea that we're still talking about Iran as a pipsqueak power here is only setting the public up for not really understanding what's coming. And the problem here is that got to keep in mind the Iran-Iraq war. Iran went on for 8 long years, hundreds of thousands of dead here. This was a grinding war of attrition here. And so the idea that Iran's just going to be scared of President Trump's tweets here, this is just not realistic. We're knocking on the door of stage 3, and that door is starting to actually open.
To re-win a loss with more power and a slightly
Yes.
different strategy. With Israel or alone?
Oh, Israel could come in on multiple different ways. We're going to do what we did in 2003, which is what we're doing right now, is telling them to stay out. The problem for Israel is Iran's not going to let them stay out, you see. So this is not necessarily just up to Israel. See, we keep pretending, Richard, we're in control. No, we lost control on Feb 28. The first bomb that hit and killed that supreme leader, that's when Trump lost control. And he's been trying to get control back for 5 months ever since, and he's not gotten it back yet. And that's what's going on in the escalation trap.